Okay. It's April 27, 2023. The time is 4:06, and we will start the meeting of the Board of Public Works. Could you kindly call a roll?
Commissioner Moriarty?
Here.
Commissioner Schoeneman?
Here.
Commissioner Lemon?
Here.
Commissioner Shea?
Here.
And that is a quorum, and we are awaiting the mayor's appearance at any minute, I'm told. With that, we'll move ahead on our agenda to motion 2. Commissioner Shea.
The motion is to approve the agenda as amended.
That is the motion. No discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Before we go forward, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Alderman O'Brien in our presence.
Thank you, Doc. I was hiding in the corner here.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Lemon, item number 3.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Public Works meeting of March 23rd, 2023.
Okay, that is the motion. I see any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. Next will be our public comment. Seeing no members of the public present, I guess there won't be any public comment this evening. With that, we'll move on to item number 5. Commissioner Schoeneman.
No motions.
There's no motion. No, there are no items for Parks and Rec. So if you wouldn't mind, the next motion under solid waste.
I move to approve the purchase of recycling and trash carts and cart lids for curbside collection for fiscal year '23, in an amount not to exceed $145,000 from Toter Incorporated of Statesville, North Carolina. Funding will be through Department 168 Solid Waste, Fund Solid Waste, Account Classification 71 Equipment.
I can speak to that. So we do this every year. We order toters. We started back in 2003 with the automated program. The toters were supposed to have a 10-year lifespan. Most of them have lasted way longer than their lifespan, but since 2003, they are starting to, really break down. The wheels, the lids, the plastic is cracking from the weather and things like that. So this is just for recycling toters. People are still buying the big green recycling toters, and this is for the blue toters, just to replace as needed when a resident has a problem.
How many toters do you get for $145,000?
I don't know the actual count. They come in tractor trailers, I can tell you that much, but I don't know the actual count.
Interesting.
The recycling toters, I believe, are $65, and that is our cost. That's what we charge a resident. So I guess.
Yeah, you do the math.
If we did it that way, yeah. So.
Oh, any other questions on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. Okay, and I will hand over the baton to our chairman, Mayor Donchis. When you get a chance, Mayor, we are presently on wastewater.
Of course, you guess where I went? The
Wastewater.
Public Works Building. Because that's where we held our last meeting. Okay, what are we on?
We are on wastewater.
All right, so we have Mr. Boucher. And item A, Commissioner Moriarty.
Yes, move to approve the user warrants as presented.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Shea.
Item B, the motion is to approve Amendment 1 to the Construction Phase Services Contract with Wright Pierce for the Phase 2 Upgrades Project in an amount not to exceed $110,191. Funding for this contract will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund Wastewater Activity, WW Plant Phase 2 Upgrades.
Thank you. Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. So this is for the Phase 2 pump station upgrades, an amendment to Wright Pierce, who is the engineering company that is overseeing the construction phase. They had extra effort that was involved during the first half of the project. There were some design changes they had to work on, so we've expended more out of their contract than expected. We do have some delays with the project, mostly supply chain delays, mainly getting generators, transformers, mostly electrical stuff. So we're expecting the project to extend beyond the initial completion date, which was June 21st, 2023. Now we're looking at going into January of 2024 with the substantial completion, which puts out the final completion as well. So the extra money is for those delayed coverages for Wright Pierce. Be happy to answer any questions.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item C, Commissioner Lemon.
Motion to approve the purchase of a full drive assembly for clarifier number 2 from Evoqua Water Technologies of Waukesha, Wisconsin, in the amount of $55,588.41. Funding will be through Department 169 Wastewater Fund Wastewater, account classification 81, major capital outlay / improvements.
Dave Boucher, wastewater superintendent. This is a drive for our secondary clarifier. It's a large settling tank. The drive moves a mechanical arm, a very heavy mechanical arm around the tank to collect solids on the bottom and the top. This drive got damaged during a very cold spell. It's like the coldest day of the year. We had the company come in to look at the drive. We were hoping to rebuild it because just a portion of it had broke. Unfortunately, it's an obsolete drive. We can have parts manufactured, but the lead time for the rebuild is almost a year long. So this is a replacement for it, and it's a 2-part drive, so this replaces the entire drive. But it is the same company. It's the new style that they're recommending for this application. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Now we're to the street department. Commissioner Shoneman.
I move to approve the purchase of one 2023 Freightliner cab and chassis with body and plow package from Viking Sives of Williston, Vermont, in the amount of $243,747. Sourcewell contract pricing. Funding will be through Department 161 Street, Fund Trust, Activity SERP.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Michael Rush, Fleet Maintenance Manager. A little back history on this. This is actually a replacement truck that we already approved in the month of February. What happened was the vendor that we purchased from, International Trucks, pulled the truck out from us, so it was no longer available. So that would have pushed our initial chassis build out to about the first quarter of 2025. So what we were able to do was go out again, look for more quotes. We were able to obtain a Freightliner chassis. The good news, other than the fact that we had to bring this back to you, is it was about $1,703 cheaper to go with the new chassis. It is still a like for like because we use International chassis, Freightliner chassis, and Mack chassis. So it's still like for like, same engine, just a different chassis. Everything else is the same, and it's a little cheaper.
Anyone?
Happy to answer any other questions.
Questions, comments? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Shea.
So we approved this item effectively, and this is a replacement for what was approved previously?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we need to technically, like, disapprove the other purchase that we approved? Or is that a non-issue?
I think it's a non-issue.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Now engineering. Mr. Hudson. And we have item A. Commissioner Moriarty.
Move to approve the sewer service permits and fees are as submitted.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Shea.
The motion is to approve the engineering services contract for development of a city-owned bridges capital improvement plan with Hoyle, Tanner and Associates Incorporated of Manchester, New Hampshire, in an amount not to exceed $37,519. Funding will be through Department 160 Admin Engineering Fund Capital Activity, Bridge Rehab Projects.
So Dan Hudson, City Engineer, good afternoon. This request is for an engineering company who has expertise in bridges to go look at all of our city bridges, vehicular bridges. City has 16 of them, as noted in the memo. They'll do an inspection, and then they'll give us feedback on the issues they see, as well as help us develop a capital program where we can plan out future improvements. The DOT reviews all city bridges every 2 years, so we get an inspection report from them, but it just has ratings. You know, the substructure might be a rating 4 or 3 or 5, and same with the superstructure, but that doesn't really tell you exactly what types of maintenance you're going to need, repairs you're going to need, and how far in the future that is, and that sort of thing. So this will help us develop the detailed plan. We under a separate agreement, we had them look at 2 bridges already, and that was very informative. You know, we get back tons of pictures and information about the bridges, and so we're really looking forward to doing that same exercise for all the bridges, so we can develop a prioritized capital plan and figure out which bridges need work first and what's highest priority and that sort of thing. So that's the plan.
Anyone? Questions, comments? Commissioner Moriarty.
I'll just make a comment. I think it's a fabulous concept. I don't remember us ever doing that before with my time on the board, and I think it's great to be proactive like this, so thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shea.
Will funding this put us at an advantage in terms of getting projects on the state 10-year plan and getting access to federal transportation dollars?
Yeah, certainly can. I mean, this is going to identify a capital need, and we'll see, you know, if that's a big number, then it will kind of spur us to go seek that additional funding. We do have projects in the 10-year plan already. We wrapped up a rehab project on the Canal Street Bridge. I think that was last year, bringing that one off the red list, so we were successful in doing that, which was great. We have the twin bridges to Hudson. We have a rehab project plan for those. We kind of advanced engineering work jointly with Hudson to get those ready. And then in speaking with DOT, that was further out in the program, and they were able to accelerate that to this year. So we plan to go to construction on that very soon, which is great. The city did receive some bridge funding from DOT, so we have a pot of money that we can use for maintenance and as matching money for other monies that we may receive. So we're well structured. What we've been missing is the detail about what is it that we need to do and when do we need to do it, so we can plan for it accordingly.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item C, Commissioner Lemon.
Motion is to approve a drain layers license for Preston Excavation Incorporated of New Boston, New Hampshire, in accordance with Nashua City Code 255-19, issuance of drain layers license, and authorize the Division of Public Works to temporarily suspend the license if work is found to be unsatisfactory during an initial 6-month probationary period.
Anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item D is an informational item. Excuse me, does anybody have questions, comments on that? Commissioner Schoeneman.
I noticed there are 2 items on this list, both for the same address. One is water service installation, emergency water service installation, and the second was an emergency gas leak. that coincidence that 16 days after they had their water service done, that they happened to have a gas leak?
I think it is, but I
Same
can look
address?
into, try to get more details on that. I don't have that, but as noted, they did have a dry well, so they were without water, so there was urgency in getting their water service done. But I don't know much about the gas leak. I would need to look into that.
Can you explain what that is? They have water through a well?
They
and-
had a private well, and it had run dry. The well company, explained that to us. We asked a lot about that because, we want to make sure it was true, and they testified that the well was dry, and so they needed water service to the home. When anybody has no water, no sanitary service, we consider those emergencies and proceed with the work. So that's the case for the water and the gas leak. I don't know the exact specifics, but I do note your point, and I'll look into that.
So you were able to go in and hook them up to city water?
Yes,
Is that the case?
yes, yep, Penachuk, yep,
Okay, thank you.
welcome.
Anyone else? All right, we'll go on to the next item, which is the administration director's report, and we have Mr. Patrician.
So today, this would be the Assistant Director's report. Andy Patrician, Assistant Director of Public Works. Here we have a Main Street inspection of the Main Street Bridge. Hoyle Tanner and Associates performed an inspection of the Water Street Bridge on April 3rd by the Nashua River to assess the current conditions for maintenance and repair. We had RWC Enterprises of Nashua remove and replace catch basin odor debris traps on Main Street in support of the city CCTV inspections of the underground utilities in the advance of paving Main Street, which we're all looking forward to. This is Sunshine Paving, showing prepping of some ramps on Jenny Hill and Jenny Hill Lane and Arion to make them ADA compliant before we pave the road. Park and Rec staff switching over the banners on Main Street. Also Park and Rec getting the gardens ready for planting in the spring. This was pretty interesting. We put a grow cover down in right field at Holman Stadium to promote an early green up. They kind of do this on golf courses and stuff on the greens, which really helps. The Jewel Lane baseball field renovation this spring, that was ongoing. The first fertilizer, get everything greened up to get the athletic fields ready to go in some of the high-profile parks. Park and Rec staff lining soccer fields and lacrosse fields, getting that ready for the kids to get out there and play. Park Rec staff has been busy beautifying the landscape beds. The Holocaust Park, Park Rec staff edged and mulched and landscaped the beds there. This was put out to highlight our 50th year of Summer Fun. We'll be posting historical and current information about our long-running program on the National Park Rec Facebook page starting in May. This is ongoing, this homeless camp trash cleanups down on Pine Street Extension. We've been trying to get that stuff clean as soon as we see it and get that taken care of. Crews repairing failing sewer cover and frame on Hills Ferry Road. Crews cleaning sidewalks in preparation for the grand opening of the new Arts Center last week. Crews repairing steps that are falling apart down on the Water Street ramp, just due to salt erosion and with the concrete and stuff like that. Crews repairing a failing catch basin and water damage on Marshall Street. Penn Valley Pump Company came to the wastewater facility to demonstrate one of the pumps for the staff. These are new cutaway pumps, allowing mechanics to see the inside of the pump and get a good idea of what kind of maintenance is going to be required. This style of pump is being considered as a replacement for existing pumps at the facility. So hopefully that'll help us out there. Risk management provided on-site training for staff members. The class was confined space. When the staff noted there was an issue with the flow out of the primary gravity tanks, they suited up and performed rag removal. This maintenance can only be performed effectively in the inside of the tank, and that is what requires confined space entry. One of the most recent safety committee meetings, staff expressed concern about being on the roof at the new energy recovery building. Management heard their concerns and acted immediately to rectify it and order a safety railing to put all the way around the roof up there. The wastewater facility had drying technology for the biosolids on site. It was a trailer-mounted dryer that was out back, and they got us greater than 90%. I went down and saw it. It was actually pretty amazing to see how dry they got this stuff. Pretty impressive. Superintendent Boucher gave a great tour of the digester complex to UNH students. He loves doing that and educating people. So thank you, Superintendent. We'll start off in the spring. Solid waste would like to remind all residents to maintain a proper 3-foot spacing between your barrels, just so that the automated trucks can reach around and grab those barrels. They can't have anything else around them. Also, pool chemicals are hazardous waste, and they cannot be disposed of curbside. We've had numerous instances where chemicals mixed together have caught on fire. Here's probably one of them, but that could have happened, but this one was a rechargeable battery. So make sure that you're not putting batteries in your toter neither. We can take those at the recycling center. And then Make It Labs in the NRPC will be hosting an electronic device collection on Saturday, May 13th from 8 a.m. to noon. Residents can bring working electronics and small appliances to be donated to charities, non-working items. The volunteers can take back to see if they can repair them or recycle for a tax-deductible donation. And that is it for the director's report. A lot of stuff going on.
All right, questions, comments from anyone? Commissioner Shea.
So I do have one question. I spoke with Alderman Lopez today. He has some concerns about the coordination and availability of information to city departments outside of the Department of Public Works on street closures and emergency work. And I told him that I would raise the issue and see if there's anything that we can do, or if there is a system in place that we can better get the word out to departments. Specifically, I think transit was his big concern because it's disruptive for folks when transit becomes aware of an issue on very short notice and is not able to inform riders in a way that allows them to accommodate for route changes or things like that. I think specifically his concern was at West Hollis and either Pine or Palm. Do you know what that trench is for, that particular one? I think Dan may know.
Dan Hudson, city engineer. Yeah, so there's gas work occurring there, and it was right in the intersection of Pine and, or actually Palm and West Hollis as noted. So it was a location. I know there was a complaint also about doing work at night in those areas, residential areas, and that was an area that we just couldn't avoid.
Yeah.
Doing work at night because it was right in the intersection.
Yeah, and doing work at, yeah, on a busy road, work at, I understand that's
And
tough
to the
work around.
notification, I know that Lauren Byers posts information about road closures on our Facebook page. Permittees are required to notify transit, school, the school busing companies, fire, police. There's a whole list of people they need to notify.
Okay.
But the lead time issue is one that maybe we could look at, because I do recognize it's hard for transit to make a, quick change in their operation.
Was this level 2, or was it like a planned bit of
It
work?
was the gas work was planned,
Okay,
yes, yep.
okay.
Unfortunately, some of our densest residential areas are the ones that are oldest and have the worst infrastructure.
Yes.
So, all this water, gas work, and sewer work, and drainage, those people, I'm sure, get frustrated because there's so much work happening in those areas. But it is kind of a fact of the age of those areas and the age of the infrastructure and the need for repairs.
Yeah, especially when we're looking to pave some of the main corridors, and we want to get all that stuff
Right.
done, so
Yeah,
we're
and
not.
West Hall is on the list.
Yeah.
We paved a portion of the west, but to the east, we needed to do some other work first. Utility work needed to happen first, so that's what's happening.
Okay.
And I did have a follow-up on Commissioner Schoeneman's question. I have great staff, and my deputy city engineer is back at the office watching the meeting, so he texted me to tell me that they actually hit the gas when they were digging for the water. So we're 100% related, because the gas was an unfortunate result of the work occurring for the water. So that repair was made to the gas, of course permitted a separate entity for that, but it was all in the same footprint. So that's what that was. So,
Thank you.
yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
And could I just circle back for a moment? So for the, so it's the permit, the person who's taking out the permit who's obligated to inform departments, is that right? And do we do those departments sign off on something? I know, like when we do an encumbrance for an event or something like that, there have to be various departments that say, okay, that's good. Is that, I kind of lost my question.
The answer is no.
Okay.
There's no procedure where they have to sign off. It falls under the Public Works realm to permit those things.
Yeah.
It's more of a notification process. For the ones that are longer term, or that we can anticipate, like the Performing Arts Center, for example, that was going to be a long-term traffic pattern change, and the departments got together and we talked that one through. But the shorter duration projects, we don't. We have worked, but and we need to probably work harder at it, but we wanted to set up more of an email distribution list so that there was an easier way for people to notify all the departments at once. I know some departments require a phone call just because of how they dispatch. But we're trying to, we would like to establish some system like that. And in the future, I can see a public-facing page, where if, with an area on a map where you can go click and get information about what the permit is, probably. But for now, the best resource for people is to follow us on Facebook, because that's where Lauren posts those notifications.
I think for the public, that's great. Now, is transit technically a third party to the city?
Transit is operated under contract by, yes, a third party, but there is city staff that oversees the operation, oversees their operation.
I'm just wondering if there's any communication issue where they're kind of like separate, quasi-separate from the city. But it seems to me like the fire and the police issue, they're going to get where they're going no matter what. And but transit seems to really be the sticky point. And I'm fully sympathetic to the night work and to the demands that the old infrastructure really has, and there's no way around it. But I think specifically the transit communication, if we can do something to button that up specifically, I think that'll really help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, well, we have commissioners' comments. Any commissioners have comments? Personnel. Item A, Commissioner Shoneman.
I move to approve and unseal the non-public minutes for personnel from the Board of Public Works meeting of March 23rd, 2023.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Moriarty.
The motion is to accept the retirement of Arthur McCann, groundskeeper maintenance, effective April 28th, 2023.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item C, Commissioner Shea.
The motion is to accept the resignation of David Ducharme, collection system operator, effective April 19th, 2023.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And item D, Commissioner Lemon.
Motion is to accept the resignation of Peter Kolhami, Senior Staff Engineer, effective May 5th, 2023.
And now we have, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We now have a non-public session. Commissioner Moriarty.
Thank you, Mayor. I move by roll call that the board go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee.
Do you need?
All right. Roll call. Could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Moriarty?
Yes.
Commissioner Shoneman?
Yes?
Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Mayor Dodges?
Yes. Motion passes, and we will go into non-public session.
Thank you.
back on?
Yeah.
All right. Now we have a motion from Commissioner Moriarty.
I move by roll call to seal the minutes of the Board of Public Works Personnel Non-Public Meeting of April 27th, 2023, until such time as the majority of the board votes that the purpose of the confidentiality would no longer be served. That would
Could
be
you-
a roll call.
Could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Moriarty?
Yes.
Commissioner Showerman?
Yes.
Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Mayor Donches?
Yes, motion passes. And now I believe we have a motion from Commissioner Moriarty.
Mayor, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the meeting of the Board of Public Works is adjourned at 4:46 PM.
We have an hour and 15 minutes.